All right, Jefferson County Court come to order. Oh, Sheriff, would you please call the court to order? I used to be the honorable until I.
Yeah, you used to be.
All right. James County Commissioner Court come to order Tuesday, 25th day of January, 2022, 9:30 a.m. County Courtroom, Anahuac, Texas. Had no citizens' comments, came in by computer, but we do have one. Shane Shashan. Shane, I'm gonna get right to you.
Prayer, Judge.
Man, I'm off this morning.
Yeah.
Austin is going to pray this morning. Thank you, Bill.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this day where we can all come together and try to do what's best for our county. Please guide our leaders' decisions and do everything that's good for the citizens of Chambers County. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Don't send pledges. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Now you can start.
Is there anything else?
Got it all covered.
All right, Shane, let's go. One citizen comment, that's Shane Shashan. He has an item on the agenda. We're gonna go to Economic Development Tourism, 5.5, discuss, consider approving application for park use agreement for Marshfest to be held at the Winnie Star Park, February 21st through March 15th, 2022. Good morning.
Look for a green light. There you go.
I think we're good now.
All right, Shane Shashan. Shane, would you introduce who's with you?
Yes, sir. I have Dustin Huff and Tammy Walker. She's outside
Good
there.
morning.
Morning.
All right, Sam, you put this on the agenda. Let Sam start off, please.
I'm not quite as tall as him. I am pretty tall though. Okay, so there are two agenda items pertaining to Marshfest on your packet. The first being 5.4. Is that where you started at, Judge? I'm
No,
sorry.
but let me go to it. Discuss
Yes,
consider
please.
application for hotel occupancy tax fund grant for Marshfest, the amount of 25,000. So we'll address 5 and 4 together.
Yes, most important part though, the money.
Yeah.
So Miss Tammy submitted the application. This is the first time we have used our newly revised application. And everything is in order per the rules. She submitted all of the required documentation, including their certificate of insurance and their she's submitted their mass gathering permit request as well. So from my end, everything's in order and looks good to go. I'll let Shane talk to you a little bit more about the festival and answer any questions that you have about the actual event.
Thank you. Shane.
Yes, sir. This year we're actually going to be, we've got 2 weekends this year. This Marshfest deal is starting to grow. It's starting to get bigger each year. But our team roping that we put on at the new arena, man, it's really taken off. And we're going to incorporate a full-size carnival this year. So we had to do 2 weekends this year because of the parking for the trailers and the horses and all that. So the weekend prior to the Marshfest, we're going to do our team roping and our barbecue cook-off, which will be a real good deal. We're going to be bringing in a lot of people for that. There'll be teams coming in from all over out of town. There'll be a lot of people staying in town. And then we'll have the team roping. It'll be a 3-day event. Friday night, we'll have a roping all day Saturday and all day Sunday. So we're looking at bringing a lot of people into town. And then we're just about to finalize all of our entertainment lineup for the actual festival. We're moved it this year. We're going to do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And because we just found the first couple of years that we did it, the Sunday crowd, people just don't draw. So we're going to move that to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we're looking, last year we didn't get to have our festival. We just had the roping and still did well. But this is our first year back with our festival since all of the new regs. And so we're looking forward to a great success this year.
You guys have a question?
Yeah, I can see when the last on the right ones on here. Make a motion to approve the grant another $25,000 for Marshfest.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice. Questions?
None. Good event.
Those in favor?
Hey, Judge, on the consent agenda, we have number 17, if we want to go ahead and.
Which
cover
one?
that.
Well, let's get 5 first.
I'm sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Gore,
Yes, sir.
Second.
second by Commissioner Tice, approve the application park use agreement. Any questions on it? Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. 17. Go to number 17 on consent. Approve waiving mass gathering permit fees for the Marshfest and the Wall That Heals. So, motion by Commissioner Tice,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gore. Any questions? Sam's
Yeah,
ready to
I
speak.
do.
Sam?
Easy enough. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question would be, I mean, if we're waiving fees, where do we draw the line between different events, what we're going to waive fees from? Not that I mind doing it, you know, but I just want to know for clear understanding what other events should expect and ask for, you know, what are the parameters around where we do it and where we don't?
I think we need to address all of the events that we have within the county, look at what they bring to the county with,
Well, some of them are nonprofits, you know,
Yeah.
scholarships.
Yeah, no,
and
I
there's a
understand. I
difference
just
in-
want to know what the parameters.
I think that Ryan and the sheriff, and I hate to speak for the sheriff, and I know Ryan's not here, but I think they're meeting here soon to kind of discuss some of that, especially in lieu of what happened in Houston. I know that's big on everybody's mind, and the sheriff's on the state tax board.
Yeah, we have met
Task
and we
force for that.
probably, we should be meeting again soon.
Sure.
The internal group.
Mhm. And I think that y'all are gonna discuss, from my understanding, because of this, what has just come up, that, you know, sometimes you need the permit, absolutely, because that's how the county will protect our residents and then ourselves, and ensure that things are flowing the way that they should. But there are certain circumstances where a $500 application fee could offset the profits, and especially when they receive hot funds. That was the conversation that Ryan and I had. We're giving them money and then taking it right back. And so a situation like that. But I do think that the internal committee is going to establish a set of written guidelines. And we've all been working towards that to kind of lay out these people may be exempt if you submit a request.
So hold on, that's kind of, weren't you in the committee meeting the first time we met? With the sheriff and,
Oh,
I'm
yes,
not-
I was. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
on the committee, so I hate to speak for y'all. These are just conversations that I've
Well,
had.
No,
probably
I
need
just
to,
think
so-
we need parameters. I don't think it
I
needs
agree.
to be just a yes, or we're gonna give it or not.
Absolutely.
so one of these we're waiving fees for is the Wall That Heals. Will you kind of explain what that is?
Sure. And then Loretta Emmons is here as well, and she's the chair, as well as Heather, who's not here. The Wall That Heals, I'm not sure, some of you may have heard of it. I've talked to some of you before as well. It is a 3/4 traveling replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. Loretta worked very, very hard last year to submit an application to have the wall travel to Chambers County. We've been scheduled for a date, which is October 27th through 30th of this year. We're very fortunate because there are only 29 communities that the wall travels to each year, and we're actually one of only 2 in the state of Texas, the other being San Antonio. So this is an excellent opportunity for veterans who may not have had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. It's a very expensive trip for the general public who's not had that opportunity. And we actually have a couple veterans in our group, Randy Forrest being one who spoke at our last meeting and mentioned how meaningful it was for him because he is a Vietnam veteran, and how much it touched him and helped him heal from his experience coming back. We all know that Vietnam veterans were not treated very well when they returned stateside, unfortunately. And so that helps not only them, but on the wall, I think we said there's 5 Chambers County residents that we know of, 4 Chambers County residents, one of whom is actually a relative of my husband. And so the families of these fallen soldiers will also get to go experience that as well. They do a couple of different things, like a registry for veterans who've come back stateside and passed away since then. But overall, it's just a really great educational experience for both veterans and the general public. The trailer that it comes in on becomes a education center. We're going to work with local school districts, not only in Chambers County, but throughout the region, and schedule tours for them to come out and interact with the wall. It's a really, really big event, but we're very, very blessed to have it come to us. And again, that's totally thanks to Loretta and Heather, who've worked very, very hard on this.
Samantha, how are you gonna use this funds to promote that? I mean, radio, TV?
Yep. So we're doing a truly integrated marketing campaign that we worked on. Robbie and I worked on for the past month. We're going to do some TV. We're going to do some digital. We're going to do some radio, billboard, etc. A lot of newspaper, absolutely a lot of newspaper. In your packet is our marketing plan.
Sheriff, I'm gonna find him and contempt with you.
In your packet is like a 15-page marketing
Okay, wait, we're
plan.
getting a little too far.
Oh,
Let's-
sorry.
Before we vote on it, I want you to kind of tell what it is, then I need to go to your item.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right,
Sorry.
those in
I
favor
got
on
excited.
17?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank y'all.
Take care.
That'll be good.
All right, well, Sam's there.
Loretta,
Five-
do you want to come up? Okay. Sorry.
I can answer any questions. that
She does a good job then. All right, 5.2, discuss and consider application for hotel occupancy tax fund grant by the Wall That Heals, Chambers County, amount of 25,000. Now, Sam's explained it. You have questions, Sam, is there other parts of it you need to cover?
For now, I don't think so. That will cover our marketing plan. It's going to be pretty tight. We've really tried to be reasonable in what we're asking from you guys. But we also want to make sure that every single Southeast Texan that could be impacted by this will have the opportunity to come see it. So we're casting a wide net. I mean, we're even going out into Western Louisiana, all the way to Lake Charles, because we think that, and from previous events that Loretta's spoken to, people will travel 3 to 4 hours to come see this because it's such a unique opportunity. So we're gonna do a ton of hotel blocks to accommodate people that are traveling a couple hours. This is a 24-hour event while it's here, so people can come at 2 o'clock in the morning if they want to, and we're going to advertise that as well. But we think it's a good opportunity for people to come in, and then also while they're here, we want to make sure that they have the opportunity to explore Chambers County too.
We're doing it at White Park, right?
Yes,
Which I
sir.
think is a great central location, but there's not many hotels around.
There's not. And so what I've done is identified 2 hotels on either side of the county, and one in Winnie and one in Mont Bellevue, that we're going to split hotel room blocks from. That is a bit of a hike, but honestly, that particular location, there's not a lot of food there either.
It's
So-
not that far. I mean,
It's not, it's about 15-20 minutes, but so we're going to really kind of promote the things that they can do while they're here, but also why staying in those 2 particular ends of the county is beneficial as well. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of hotels currently in Central Chambers County. And hopefully we can remedy that soon, though.
I think it's a great deal. I'm glad to see you get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am proud.
Great and accomplished.
Yeah, thank you. Loretta.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Loretta.
Thanks,
Um,
Loretta.
So the first thing is the hot funds that we're asking for. And again, I have that well accounted for in that marketing plan that you have before you. And just for the public record, if anybody wants to see that, I'm happy to send that over to them as well. Like I said, we've done a lot of research and put a lot of thought into that to make sure that we're reaching the target markets that we have in mind. So that's available for anybody that wants to see it.
Bill, we need to make sure Mike Shields where it comes out. Comes around.
Okay.
I entertain a motion on 5.2.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner's Court. Second by Commissioner's Court. All those in favor? 5.3.
Okay, so the next thing I'm asking you for is a park use agreement. Now I will say a caveat to this, we don't have our insurance agreement just yet, but we are working with the insurance company to get that. It'll be approved at our next meeting. So that is a requirement, and I'm happy to hold that item and come back next quarter once we have that. But we usually do both at the same time. We've already got it booked through Parks Department. Nope, they're not going to take the date from us or anything like that, but up to you guys if you want me to hold it. We're going to get it, and I'll bring it back and put it through court again if you'd like me to, if y'all want to approve today, pending that certificate of insurance. It's like $1,200. We haven't had a chance to talk about it in the meeting yet.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Tice, second by Commissioner Gore. Is that to approve pending the insurance? certificate? Okay.
Is it gonna be manned 24 hours a day?
Yes,
Okay, who's gonna be doing that?
volunteers.
Volunteers.
Yes.
You're welcome to take it.
You
We're
are.
looking for a volunteer
You
coordinator.
take the night shift.
We're also I'm sorry, you want to go ahead and then I'll say what
Now, I assume we're gonna have security
Yes.
provided.
we are very, very well supported by the sheriff's office. And the sheriff has agreed to provide security 24 hours a day. This is not the type of crowd that we expect to be rowdy. Our concern is more having volunteers there to help people get to and from the memorial. We're thinking it's going to be more middle-aged to an older crowd, but the sheriff has been very, very supportive of this endeavor. And
Yeah.
well, I'm pretty clumsy. I don't want to speak out of turn on that because it might be me falling in the middle of the night. You never know.
All right, any other questions? Here none, those in favor?
Uh,
Opposed, motion carries. Seriously, thank you all. This is gonna be great.
Thank you.
We're very excited. Do you
Great
want
for
to?
Southeast Texas.
I think so too. And like I said, when we're reaching out all the way to Lake Charles, we really want to cast this net as wide as we can to give as many people the opportunity to see it as
So
possible.
I've got a Southeast Texas judges coming up. I need to get something. I can send
I'll
to
get you a
them,
save the date.
Into them,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, so our official announcement is going to come out in March 29th, which is actually Vietnam Veterans Day. So you guys are like kind of on the cusp of knowing things before everybody. I mean, it's a not well kept secret. We've been talking about it a lot, but I'll go ahead and get you the save the date. That way you can share it. And then just a little plug, we're looking for donors. So when it's time, we'll hit all of you up.
Sound good. All right, stay there. Let's go to 5.1, discuss and consider executing application resolution for Texas Parks and Wildlife Department's recreational trails grant for proposed walking trail at Gregory Park, Stoll, Texas. Sam.
And I always feel like my agenda items are like a paragraph long.
They are.
Well, I
You
try to
sound
be.
like an attorney. Nathan Brandon Marks are not that long.
See, you heard Ashley's feelings saying that. I try to be very descriptive so that everybody knows what I'm talking about.
It's
For your
good. It's
information.
all good.
Okay, so this is, the judge and Commissioner Gore know about this. We've had a resident from Stoll who is very, very active in her community and very interested in improving her community, and I think that is wonderful. She has requested some improvements to Gregory Park, most of which are not in my wheelhouse, but I can do grants. So one of the things she's asked about is a walking trail for that particular park, which is not large. I mean, we're using the term park loosely, honestly. It's about a city block. It's 1.9 acres. But there are no sidewalks in that area. And so people who want to walk for exercise or kids who want to ride their bikes or whatever, they don't have a safe place to do that. And so she just asked the county to look into funding a pathway that people could safely exercise on. And so the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department has a grant called the Recreational Trails Grant. It's a 75-25 grant. And so I looked at that and developed an application that is before you guys today for consideration. It is, the total cost on that would be roughly $325,000. And so our match would be like $67,000. And that's for you guys to talk about. If you are amenable to that, it's not something we need the money for now. Obviously, grants move very, very slowly. So we're talking application now. We'd find out in the fall. We'd have ample time to budget those funds for the next year or two, which is realistically how long it'll take to complete. But that's for your consideration today. If you approve, we'll approve this resolution. I'll get the application submitted for February 1st and bring it to you guys in consent, just so you have a public record of it.
Sam, this caught my attention. I think it's a great deal. I really do. I'd like to see us use something like this in several other places around the
Absolutely.
county. I know in precinct 4, I've got at least 2 places that I'd like to look into something like this. It's
Absolutely.
anything we can get in grant money, and I think HGAC sometimes
They do.
has stuff. So I'll make a motion that we approve it, and I'll ask that we continue to look at other locations too.
Yes, sir. It's an annual, just for the record. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it's an annual fund. So what we can do is make a list in order of priority and then move through them annually, similar to how we're doing with the boat ramp there. So we'll start working on that. Anything we can do, I think, and I know you guys are in agreement to provide safe outdoor recreational spaces for our public. I know that we all are really
Yeah.
interested in working
There's
toward.
lots of places.
We are. I mean, we have beautiful outdoor spaces, but we're in deficit as far as amenities in many of them. And I know that that's something that we've all been working towards over the last, I would say, 2 years with you guys supporting my playgrounds and then now.
And we're hoping, Billy and I've been working with TGS, of course, and we're hoping to put walking trails through the green belts.
I would love that. I think that's
2354.
great.
All right, I got a motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Gore. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And that's all you have.
That's all I have.
Thanks, ma'am.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, BJ. Yeah, go ahead, Chair.
So 2 things. One on Marshfest, the numbers, I've talked to them about their numbers. I don't think they actually qualify for the mass gathering yet. They just don't have the numbers, but there are some things that I think that they probably do qualify in regards, because it's overnight and it's a multi-day music festival. But they're only averaging 700 to 800 people at their biggest nights. So it's not like a Gator Fest or Rice Festival yet. All right. I mean, it will
Could
be.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be. I meet with Ryan working on language so that we can then get the mass gathering permit committee together to figure out what needs to be inserted in it. And then on the application fee, I think the $500 is an absolute must. I think you should keep it that way. If you as a court want to waive it when somebody comes in and gets hot tax money, that's one thing. But I think it's very important that you have that significant application fee, because it slows down some of these people that are creating a 501c3 to make themselves money. All right. It's
Okay.
okay. So
And maybe we put it
puts
in,
the seriousness into
maybe
it.
we put it actually in the plans that if you receive hot funds, then
Yeah,
Waive.
like I say it, but I think it needs to be waived by y'all. That way you're not singling, you do on each way. That's up to y'all to how you do it. I just know that I think the $500 fee, some of the counties have really increased them here recently, and I think it's a must. So.
okay.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. Ryan, anything on that?
No, sir.
What he said? Good job, Ryan.
Thank you, Loretta. Thank you, Loretta.
Y'all put the
Uh,
seal each night.
Okay. All right, BJ. Ryan, BJ out there? No, there. Good morning. 5.6, discuss and consider Olean Americas Inc. tax abatement application. BJ.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners. The application you have before you is presented by Olean Americas. It's a Belgian firm that's been conducting due diligence in the county area since 2017. Their intent is to build an esterification facility to produce esters. Their specialty, as noted in the cover letter, is that they produce or they convert natural fats, oils, and essentials into end products using alcohol and other processes. The capital investment for the project is $26.6 million, and job creation would be 32 jobs at the project start in 2023, rising to 33 in the year 2028. What's presented for you today is consideration to accept the application and move forward with evaluation of the application per the new guidelines that the court adopted.
Questions?
Thanks. So we're just accepting the application today.
Yes.
Yeah, entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Tice,
Second.
second by Commissioner Collins. No questions? You got questions?
BJ, where's this? They have a preliminary site for this?
Yes, it's over in the Bates End Industrial Park, Commissioner.
It's on Kilgore Parkway.
It's on Kilgore Parkway. There's an exhibit, should be.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Right there.
it's in parcel 42918.
See, this is the end of the park right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the Barb's Hill.
So it's in an industrial park.
Yes, it's in the BHIC. Yes.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 5.7, discuss and consider parameters and public hearing regarding the proposed Chambers Parkway Transportation Reinvestment Zone.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, you may recall last court before last, the concept of adopting or establishing a transportation reinvestment zone in the targeted area was presented for consideration. The courts established transportation reinvestment zones in the past in Central County. The handout that was reviewed last court preliminarily showed an 8-step process to go through in consideration for establishing a transportation reinvestment zone. What you have before you now is a more defined boundary of the exhibit that illustrates not only the footprint of the proposed transportation reinvestment zone, but also the proposed projects that would be the funding for which would be assisted. The proposed Chambers Parkway extension that's noted in the exhibit that's highlighted in blue, the proposed Trade Winds Drive project that's highlighted in yellow, and then the proposed Needle Point Road project that's highlighted in red. The very preliminary overview for the number of parcels that within this footprint includes about 29 to 30 parcels with a base value of approximately $32.5 million. And that's based upon 2021 valuations. The way this works typically is essentially as a tax increment reinvestment zone would be established that more specificity would be defined in the parcels that would be impacted. Base value would be established, and then move forward to make some consideration to adopt the transportation reinvestment zone to use the incremental increase in value over time, which can be designated by the court, could be 10, 15, 20 years to help fund transportation projects within the footprint of the transportation reinvestment zone. Just at a base value, this high level of evaluation of the 29 parcels that were identified, which make up the $32.5 million in valuation, the incremental value of an increase of 2% per year would result in $6.5 million in value increase over a 10-year period. That's a very conservative estimate. And so the process that is being considered right now or proposed is to continue to move forward with the feasibility analysis and then establish a public hearing court date to act on establishing the reinvestment zone.
BJ, how much notice do we need for the public hearings? Is it 2 week or
30 days.
30-day notice?
30
So
days.
we'll, in the motion, we'll set it for 10 a.m. on first court in
In March.
March.
That would be either March 8th or the second one in March, 14 days subsequent to that.
So we didn't include the improvements to Chambers Parkway. Is there a reason why? Or-
Yeah, we did improve. We are improving Chambers Parkway.
Well, okay, I see highlighted the
Yeah, and actually, that blue line really should go all the way from
all the way to
146.
146.
And the red line should go all the way to Interstate 10 in the exhibit, because it would be improving all of Needle Point Road and Chambers Parkway, plus putting in extending the Trade Winds Drive up to Chambers Parkway. And that area, we currently have funds already on Kilgore Parkway and we are extending Kilgore Parkway to 3180, and we are extending Chambers Parkway to 99, and we are acquiring the right of way already to extend it to 3180. But truth is, that area is growing much faster than our plans are for our roads. So we need to improve the existing roads that are there. And I think Corey could speak to that they desperately need to be improved. And we're having DRC meetings with some pretty large development that's coming into that area. So we're going to need these roads improvements sooner rather than later. And, this mechanism would allow us to pay for the roads without any additional taxes being laid over, because it would use the improvements that the roads allow and create, to fund to pay back the roads at whatever percentage that we decide to set that percentage.
Yes,
And I think that could be anywhere from 65%.
yes, up to 65%.
Up to 65%, 65% down, right? And that's only on the increments. So I'd make a motion that we set a public hearing for the first court of March at 10 a.m.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Tice, set a public hearing regarding the proposed Chambers Parkway Transportation Reinvestment Zone. First court in March at 10 a.m. Other questions? So is there any other improvements? So this is a reinvestment zone. If something else comes up in that zone, other than what we've identified, can we do that also?
Yes, any sort of incremental value, and that's the whole, the intent of the transportation reinvestment zones are to fund thoroughfares that would embellish or enhance development. There are some considerations that any properties that were located within the TRZ would not be abated, tax abatements or anything would not apply because, you want to catch that increment. So that's a consideration as well. So the projects that would emerge would not, or you can modify that, but it would to ensure that you maximize the ability to reap the increments that are derived within the footprint of the reinvestment plan.
Is this here just apply to roads, Commissioner?
Well, it would apply to drainage. That would be, you got to drain your roads and stuff, so it would be the infrastructure needed to put that in.
That's
Okay.
correct.
I want to make sure.
Right. Yeah, the next court may have more detail. By the time the next court comes, we'll be able to get some more definitive estimates. The other consideration as well is that the base year could be 2021 as compared to 2022 on the increment. So in the previous reinvestment zone, the county established to fund Dornbos Road, which was adopted in 2014. The 2013 valuation, our base value was used.
When do we need to set that base year?
At the public hearing.
At the public hearing?
Yes.
Or immediately following
Yes,
the public?
by
hearing?
order. Yes, the court would adopt an order establishing the base year.
Okay. And the public hearing, I assume it has to be posted and then advertised in the paper and stuff.
That's correct. Per the usual 30-day notice that's posted on the county's website under economic development. And then 7 days prior to the public hearing in a local paper.
Should we notify landowners in that, at least big landowners that
Yes.
are planning development?
Yeah, and one thing I might add, for the very most part, everything in this is pretty much undeveloped land. There are only a few existing developments, within that footprint. So it's a lot of large parcel landowners that are in it. So the actual number of individual landowners are minimal.
Yeah, and I can see that, it's a detriment to them because they can't get tax abatement for selling their property in somebody's building. But there's going to be infrastructure improvements that would also help their properties.
Benefit.
Yeah, benefit. Thank you.
Yes, and please keep in mind, once the base boundaries have been established, annexation, individuals can volunteer to be annexed within a TERS if in fact there are public infrastructure projects that would benefit from the increment.
Okay, got a motion and second. And I know we've been talking about this a long time, so I'm glad to see we're moving forward on one of these. Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks,
Hey, be
Big
sure and tell Mike Shields about the veterans law that's coming, if you talk to him.
What is that, Judge?
Did you hear the, I'll tell him. Never
All
mind.
right, very good.
I thought you might be listening to Sam earlier. All right, let's go to 1.1, discuss, consider raising Chambers County's over 65 homestead tax exemption. Mr. Combs.
Yes, actually, I got a phone call from Mr. DeBose a couple of weeks ago and asking me if that's something we had ever considered. And I got to admit, at first, I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. But as we talked through it and looked at it, it kind of intrigued me. And, as I think about it and I start looking, almost everybody within Chambers County residentials, our taxes on our homesteads are going up at least 10% every year. Because we've already capped out, we're keeping our homestead exemption and the maximum they can be raised is 10%. And that's true for people above and below, the age 65. But most of the people above, the age of 65 have retired and they're on fixed incomes. So basically they're getting taxed out of their homes. It's going to be to a point that they just literally cannot afford to pay the taxes on their homes that and keep up with the rising valuations. So Mr. DeBose actually sent an email out, and within that email, he kind of explained some of his what he was asking for. And I think currently the state is providing a 20% tax break, I believe, if you're after you reach the age of 65. So if your home, appraised for $200,000, you're getting a break from the state for 40,000, which would drop the taxable value down to 160. I believe the county at this point is offering a $60,000 exemption. So a $200,000 home would enjoy the break of the 40,000 on the 20% offered by the state, and then 60,000 by the county. So you're getting $100,000 deduction on your current evaluation. And so, but if your taxes increase 10% every year, next year, you know, your home's going to be valued at $220,000. And then the following year, it's going to be valued at $242,000. So that decrease is really shrinking. I mean, your taxes are steadily going up. So anyhow, I'll tell you, do you mind if we let Mr. DeBose get up and?
No. If you fill out a form afterwards, or do you have one filled out?
I didn't know about it.
We'll get, yeah, we'll get, when you finish this, there's one over there.
Blame him.
Austin, why don't you tell your daddy?
I do have a little bit of.
You know, he didn't claim Austin, but.
No, he didn't. Matter of fact.
Would you go ahead and state your name for the record?
My name is Charles Dubose. I'm a resident of Chambers
Thank you,
County
Charles.
in the city of Mont Belvieu. So I did prepare this a little bit different from the email. And first of all, thank you all for allowing me to speak today. It is a little bit of self-serving in my talk because I'm 62 years old and looking forward to this 65 exemption, have been for the 24 years that I've lived in Chambers County. But as I see the escalation in values of the property, you have all, I say, been privy to that and probably advantage to that, but ultimately it does have a double-edged sword that slices two ways, and that is in the taxation. When I talked to Billy, I spoke to Billy, Mark, and to Tommy. I appreciate that the county assesses the tax rates in lieu of what income is needed to run the county. So therefore, as these rates are going up, you're going to take that value and assess it. So there are some built-in protection, I guess you would call it, from those rising rates. But ultimately, the county, the city has been, and the school district have been very friendly, if you will, to the over 65 group. In my years that I've been here, there's always been this understanding, like with the school tax rate, that it's someone's tax value somewhere in the range of $230,000 would not get school taxed. And each of the county, the entities tax it differently. You guys are very, very favorable in comparison to the neighboring taxing authorities. The counties and the school district, as well as the city, all are very favorable in the over 65. I appreciate that. I think, but to keep that in line, there's going to have to be some adjustments in way to do that. I'm not going to read verbatim what I said, but I did put those numbers that Jimmy had presented. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a homestead in Chambers County area to be evaluated at $200,000. I think that's probably a low medium, and that is I put on this on the numbers you're going to see that would incur a 36% increase in the tax with the existing tax rate. It would incur a 36% increase on the taxes of someone over 65. And with this example of 200,000. So it is a serious impact on those over 65. I guess because I'm looking at it, I feel the pain coming, or feel the advantage or the pain, whichever we look at. So I'd like for y'all to consider that. And you'll also notice that I'm willing to help develop something. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can help evaluate it. I would encourage you to look at the opportunity to do something that would be evergreen, that would build with the process instead of something that's a one-time advantage. An example would be every time that you evaluate the tax rate, you say, what is the over 65? How does that compare? Is that something we should do? Instead of allowing it to fade away in time, something that is in consideration reasonable,
Yeah, and I think you look at this every budget year. I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
That's when we look at the tax rate and set the tax rate.
Right.
And there's ways to manipulate the tax rate to still go down on taxes and
Fund the county.
reward those of us that are over 65.
Right.
When I get there, I'll be. I don't think you're very smart at all. You sent your son to SFA, but other than that.
Well, and he drug
I know.
your auditor with him, so.
Yeah. Kicking and screaming.
So I do appreciate, I appreciate your time, and I do offer my.
They weren't paying all their taxes.
If you wasn't paying all the taxes, you'd send them to a better school.
Yeah,
like
'cause
St.
they're-
Andrews.
Well, he's not 65 yet. so-
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
you go.
65 yet, so.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I think, speaking of our auditor did reach out to the appraisal district and got some numbers. And I'll let you, Aaron, you want to?
Yeah, so just kind of looking at the overall exemption. If you do 100% exemption, that's about a $2 million, loss, I guess, in taxes for next year. But and we can get more detail if we need to get Mitch in. But I mean, that's what it came up with on tax loss if you do it 100% over 65 exemption.
Yeah, as it sits right now, if we raised it to 100%, we would be looking at a $2 million is really what it is.
We'd lose $2 million in the bank. I mean,
Right,
Tax-
we
tax
would either
revenue.
lose it or have to shift, it would, but either way.
Yeah, and
That's what we're looking
but we talked yesterday, and Lauren and I had also talked to the appraisal district. As we talked yesterday, you could lower your tax rate. You're gonna have to lower your tax rate as values go up.
Right.
So there's a way to capture some of this funds, not 2 million all in 1 year, but slowly get there to where you could even get to 100%.
Right.
65 and older.
Like for instance, this year, our appraisals on the residential on the homes of the county actually went up. And the appraisals in the industrial arena and the inventory, it dropped. So that burden shifted from industry over to residents. So that's why I think we need to be looking at something like this to try to not to tax people that cannot afford that increase in their tax.
I agree. So you gonna chair the committee, Billy?
No, I'll be happy to. What I wanted to do today, I really did not expect us to walk out of here with any action, but I just wanted to get the feel of the court. Is it something that we feel we want to look at? And if so, let's come up with a plan that we can bring back to the court for approval.
I think it's good, and I'll work with you on, I'm sure Aaron will too, right here. So,
Yeah, I'd like to participate in that, so.
okay, well, you two guys do it along with the auditor, and, if you'll get Mr. Dubose in, and,
I don't want to add anything.
no, I got plenty to do. Okay. I'd rather you do.
I'll be happy to.
Okay, no, we'll do it.
Okay,
Sound good.
all right,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Chuck.
So we're gonna pull that one. When y'all get ready to put it back on, just let us know. All right, 1.2, discuss consider sale of county property, 0.1764 acre tract, vacant land located at 4818 North FM 565 on W, Texas, for the sale bid process. Tommy.
So, Chip Gladden owns Coastal Landscape Materials right beside this, just to the east of this property right here. So, and he come to me probably about 4 or 5 months ago and inquired about purchasing that little pie-shaped property right there. So, we've gone through the process to do that. We had a property surveyed, we had it appraised. And so we're at the point now, I think we want to put it up for sealed bids for purchase.
So that's property in between him and the community. And
Yes,
the
sir. and,
community building,
yeah,
fire
the
department. right
fire
there.
department, community building right there.
In Old
So,
River.
In Old River,
I know it says Mount Belvieu, this is over.
right.
So what you're asking is to go through the sealed bid process to sell this property,
Yes, sir.
and that's your motion.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hammond, second by Commissioner Combs.
Got any, the purchase agent, got any comments?
I know
Just,
that.
just that we work with Tommy Hammond on getting this surveyed and appraised, and we do have an appraisal that's ready to go that we can bid out with. Yes, sir.
Okay, are we gonna, on the sealed bid process, do you say where it has to be as a minimum appraisal price, or is that gonna be part of your motion?
It has to be that,
It has
isn't
to
it,
be
George?
that.
By law, yes,
By
sir.
law, it has.
Yes, sir,
to
by
be-
law.
Need to be in the motion.
Okay, that need bid motion, okay.
I got a motion second. Any other questions or comments? Here none, those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Financial 2.1, discuss consider Chambers County Sheriff's Office impressed fund internal audits. Aaron.
I'll let Lindsay
Excuse me,
take-
Mr. Auditor.
Take that one over there.
Lindsay, good morning.
Good morning. I'm here. If y'all have any questions, the sheriff's office has implemented recommendations from our prior audit. So we have no concerns, and I thank the sheriff's office for working easily with us.
It looked good. I'll make a motion to accept it.
Accept.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by, I think it was Commissioner Combs. Any questions? Lindsay getting off light. Those in favor?
It was clean. It was
Yeah.
just nothing there to,
Yeah.
I don't know what he threatened you with, jail time or what, but cleanest audit I ever seen.
No tickets for a year.
All right, 3.1, discuss and consider entering into an agreement with TGS and or CCID #1 for Greenbelt along FM 3180 improvements to Fisher Road. Billy,
Yeah, Judge, I'm gonna ask that we pull this and let me bring it back with the proper wording. I want to apologize to everyone that worked so hard in trying to get this thing prepared. When I sent the email to Lauren, it's accidentally put 3180 instead of 2354, so we can't take action on it. And there are a couple little tweaks that we do need to do, and we will have this back for us before the next court. You know, Mayor Ryan Dagley has worked very hard in trying to get this together, and as well as, you know, John and James from TGS. And anyhow, I just blew it today. I'm sorry.
okay, and it's a little confusing that 3180 does turn into 2354.
Yeah, but I know better.
All right, did we vote on 1.2? 2.1, I mean, those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we did. Thank you, Lauren. All right, we're going, thank you, Dan. We're gonna pull 3.1 and go to 3.2, discuss and consider agreement for Pacheco Code to do the existing condition drainage analysis for Kilgore drainage. Mr. Combs, you taking that?
I think Corey's here.
Corey.
He's gonna take it.
You got a microphone?
I'm here.
for it?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I've got Jim Roberts here, in case y'all
Morning,
have
Jim.
any questions, concerning this. This goes back to discussions we've been having on for months in the court, but several years actually going back to try to close this, project out on, Kilgore drainage. So we kind of ended our relationship with, Paul Lipke, and, we need to finish out the drainage essentially, and recommending that Pacheco Code Jim Roberts do this drainage analysis so that we can hand it over to Friesen Nichols. That's already under contract to do the proposed, to provide any recommendations that might be necessary for bringing it into compliance.
Okay, I had a discussion yesterday with the auditor and George, and there's no wreck and pie with this. And I think there's confusion on where this was going to be paid, why they wouldn't wreck and pie. And
So this.
it needed one to come to court.
Well, the thing is that this is essentially goes back to the Kilgore drainage fund originally, which is out of money essentially at this point. So it's impossible at this point to give a wreck and pie from where it was at. So.
Well, I know the auditor was out Thursday and Friday. So,
Right.
And there is money there. It's just not in that fund. Aaron, you want to?
Yeah, so
Right, the account, of course, was getting overdrawn, and so,
And that's the original account for Kilgore
right, the other.
Regional Drainage.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, in 21, we did the CO, we included one overages to cover what is over and to fix.
From the original drainage project.
The fund. Then we actually budgeted another 1.3 for these kind of extra things for Kilgore Drainage to fix whatever needed to get done.
Right.
Yeah, to clear things up. So there is money in the CO for the project. You had 1.3 and then plus about another million for the overages for the Kilgore Drainage project.
Which is why we put it in the CO. So why do we not have the money?
No, we do have the money.
It's just not set up in an account to get a rectified. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
the accounts are there. We have set up a budget. I think because I wasn't here, and there was some confusion between which pot of money, because there's CO money, there's the 4 million for the 3-to-1 money, and so I think there was just some confusion.
Of where do you get the rectified? Where's the money coming from?
Yeah, but I think we've got to clear, hey, it's the CO money. We budgeted this much money.
So bottom line is Aaron can't take off anymore.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that that was in the CO. I was thinking of the original predicament that we had, so.
Yeah, the proper thing to do is bring it back to the rectified. And I discussed yesterday with Aaron and George and Lauren and we really shouldn't even put things on court, not just you, Corey, anybody, unless you have everything you need in the packet, not only for the public, but for the commissioners. So.
We probably got tired of hearing from you yesterday.
All right, so we're going to table and bring it back next week.
Yes, I think that's the proper thing to do. I think we're all for that. We got to do it and need to move
Oh,
forward.
we got to do it. I mean, there's no if and buts. Not that we want to do it, but we have to do it.
All right, so table 3.2, Corey, if you get Aaron, get your rectified, put it on next score. 3.3, discuss consider agreement with KTN split costs for silt removal within Kilgore Drainage. Corey.
So this is essentially, well, this one can be approved. This doesn't have a specific budget with it. We met with KTN, Billy and I, last week. We've been in discussion. There is some silt that has deposited in phase 1 of the project that was previously done by Angel Brothers. It's in the stretch just north of the railroad tracks and infiltrates into the box culvert going under the railroad. And so KTN actually brought that to our attention as a potential to hold some water on them. We got to looking at it and then discovered that actually that they were a pretty large contributor to that silt deposit. And so we've gone back to them and met to discuss the cost of that removal and what percentage each party should play in that realm. And so in general, we came up with a 50-50 split on the silt removal. The agreement that we have with, well, the price that we have from SCR to do that work in 3.4 is includes also dressing up the slopes and some seating and stuff like that. So that would have to be adjusted so that the 50% would be just the silt removal itself. But anyway, that's in general. They still have to approve that, I believe, through their administration. Billy, you want to talk to that?
Yeah, we have a kind of a gentleman agreement that we agree on a 50-50 split because it's impossible to tell exactly who contributed what to it. And it's obvious, both county's responsibility and KTN's. But I think I'd like to ask Jim, do we know what that split is now? Do we know what?
I still don't have.
Jim, come up to the microphone, please. And state your name for the record.
Jim Roberts with Pacheco Coke Engineers. And no, I don't have a response from SCR yet with the split out for just the sediment removal. So we don't know what the 50-50 will be.
So we'll need an up to amount to approve.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're working on that.
Yeah, but we don't have that number as we sit here today. So we could either, okay, our SER is out there working now, and we really don't want to, are they moved in yet? Are they there?
I haven't seen them move in yet.
Okay, well, maybe we do have time to get the numbers finalized and bring it back. You think, Corey?
Yeah, I do. And so, I mean, probably all these associated with Kilgore, probably just bring them back on the next court, and
When we get everything.
we'll have everything pinned down by that point, rectify costs, splits, and all that stuff for the court.
Okay. Okay, so we'll table 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3, 4. Go ahead.
Is this gonna be an ongoing issue? We're gonna have to come back on this again? I mean, do we know?
That's kind of my question. Is this a reoccurring
Yeah.
problem or?
Yeah, ain't no way we can alleviate this, or is it we're gonna keep?
You don't have much. I'd love to alleviate this.
Well, so-
I know, but we got-
You just don't have any idea.
We got to continue splitting costs for this here down the road.
No, I think this will get us past anything that we've got to split with KTN. I think it'd be last of this, but as a result of these studies, there will be more work to be done on that drainage system in the future. And we'll be bringing it up to the.
You talking about it was a regional study?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would that be on us, or is there a split with the partners?
No, partnerships done.
So it'll be on us.
Yeah, but we'll have to bring it up to Atlas 14 eventually. And, that's a part of the Freeze Nichols study that they're doing. We need this work done to get to Freeze Nichols. And then Corey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but then Freeze Nichols with the part of their study is tell us what we got to do to bring this up to Atlas 14 and to make sure that it will do what it was originally designed to do. That's the question we have now, but.
Yeah, but if we have a silt issue in the future.
It's our ditch.
Oh, maintenance of it is ours.
It's maintenance is ours, it's our ditch. We had partners to help build it, but it's our ditch.
Yeah.
But
So-
if a partner is causing the silt, that's what I'm getting to. It's something that's not a natural erosion or something like that. If it's something that like they're contributing to now, are we just gonna eat that?
Corey wants to speak on it.
So part of that, I don't know, you might remember that we had an agreement with Angel Brothers back about a year and a half ago to go in there and finish out that project. And then we completed it. They couldn't get over the railroad tracks when we did that. We was hoping that natural vegetation would take place at that point. We went ahead and accepted the project. But the problem is there was some, before vegetation was established, there was some runners that was created up in those slopes that caused that. So the project or the cost that we're getting from SER, our current contractor out there on phase 2, is to remove all the silt, reestablish the slopes, and put down blanket and seed and establish it. So it's not just putting it down, they have to establish it, and they're giving us a lump sum cost for getting that done. We're getting into the perfect time of year for ensuring that that's done, the springtime when grass is going to grow and everything else. So this would be a great time to get this done and not have this be an ongoing issue. The other thing is, just speaking to the Kilgore drainage, we're, like I said, we're working with Freeze and Nichols. They're doing the proposed projects that are gonna, we're hoping to get out of these projects. It's gonna bring forward additional grant money for enhancements. And so I met with Freeze and Nichols and the Texas Water Development Board last week. Texas Water Development Board was very excited about this overall project and that it's regional drainage and how it can help Cedar Bio. And I think they're very interested in the potential of an additional grant project to bring this up to Atlas 14 and improve the drainage in that region. So I think some of it could be offset that way, where obviously we would have, a percentage of cost, but it's not going to be the whole thing.
So that regional drainage includes the county, City of Mont Bellevue, City of Liberty, Liberty County, Trinity Bay Conservation District.
Well, that is the study.
Study.
Yes, right.
City of Dayton was in on it, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna table 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3, 4. And 3, 3, 5, discuss consider proposed road and drainage plan for the first and second quarter, presented by Chambers County Road Administrator Brian Dodge. This is Brian's first Commissioner's Court. Welcome to the county, Brian, officially.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Jim.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Go ahead, Brian.
Appreciate the opportunity for me to bring this to y'all's attention because I know it's that time of year where you need to know where we're gonna be going and what we're gonna be doing, but it's a very aggressive plan. The title's a little misleading. It does say first and second quarter, but I believe this will bleed into the third quarter as well. It's an aggressive drainage, pavement and preventive maintenance plan for the road and bridge department for this upcoming year. Some of these projects are already in progress, but it's too cold to do any pavement work. So we're really staying off pavement right now and focusing on drainage a lot and on our gravel roads. Commissioner Hammond and Commissioner Combs, you may feel like you're a little underrepresented on this plan, but
We're used to it.
I haven't finished my evaluation of y'all's precincts yet. And once I do, this plan will evolve to include more work that's necessary in y'all's areas.
Well, Brian, given the short time you've been here, I wasn't going to embarrass you in public, but I was going to pull you to the side about that.
It's only been 2.5 months. I think we got an aggressive plan to get started with, but it is going to grow into a monster.
So Billy and I have been talking about building an office over on the west side.
I'm gonna supply the land.
We got one right by mine.
I know.
And it's actually looking good over there. What else, Brian?
That's all I have.
I will-
You
I will
got
drive
a
to the
question?
west side, just so y'all know.
Pardon?
I will drive to the west side.
I know you will.
Any questions?
No, I really appreciate this right here.
I do too. We do appreciate
Really
it.
do, really do.
Well, I appreciate you've been getting some emails on where the crews are at, what the off-road crew and everybody's doing. I mean, I really appreciate that. So.
That will also grow.
Yeah,
Mr.
and
Gore.
I would appreciate it. We just had a routine when you're gonna be working in a commissioner's precinct. Just give them a heads up that you're there. Because all too often I get calls from residents asking me what the heck you are doing out there and I don't have a clue.
Understood.
Because you ain't on the list. Billy.
Yeah, I thought they wouldn't do anything in your precinct.
They're just
Well, you
driving.
know.
They're here. Oh my God.
They're just
Take a
driving.
picture.
They're just driving through your precinct.
All right, so
Over there
no
sleeping.
action on 3.5. 3.6, discuss and consider progress of FM 1409. Where'd Corey go? He leaving? Okay, let's take 10. It's a good time.
Take who?
10.
10?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh.
All right, call coming to order at recess. It's now 10:50 a.m. 3.6, discuss and consider progress of FM 1409. Corey?
Thank you, Judge. So just to give you all an update, the bridge is making good progress. We should be setting beams this next month across the interstate, across all the frontage roads and the turnarounds, all that stuff. And then start working on the actual, the bridge deck. It's making good progress. Get rid of the lane closures out there on I-10, get back to normal. So anyway, the changes that we made out there for safety worked really well, and we haven't had any real issues since those safety improvements were made out there with the additional signage and everything else, which is all good. On the roadway portion, as y'all know, that we opened that up in 2 different segments back in the late summer and early fall, and got traffic on the north and south sections. Still have a little bit of cleanup to do, as Mr. Hammond can attest to. I think it's been a little bit of burr under his saddle, but we're getting there. We've got to, we have the electrical subcontractor out there now. Should get the illumination all turned on. That actually, I think all the commissioners on the west side have been getting beat up on that a little bit, but we should have that done. TxDOT came out and installed a new traffic cabinet at the signal at 565 and 1409 north. And that got turned back on. That should take care of some of those delays that we were getting complaints about and everything else. And then the big one is trying to establish the seating out there. We've similar to what was talking about on the slopes, on the Kilgore, similar issues on some locations there along 1409 drainage. So it's important to get that graphs established before we hand that over. So we've got a small change order associated with establishing grass. We might have some additional for moving the electrical elements a 3rd time to make Centerpoint happy. And the other one that we have out there is we had some issues with residents coming off of Broken Fin in our Joseph's Cove subdivision and utilizing the drainage roadway. It's a gravel road out there for maintaining the drainage. It's just for private, for the county and TxDOT to utilize to get out there and maintain that area. And they were using it as a cut through to get over to 1409 and other reasons, and starting to tear stuff up. So we're going to put some fencing across there to prohibit that. I think all 3 of those total should be a little under 20,000. So we're still in really good shape overall. As soon as I get those final prices and everything else, hopefully again on this next court, we'll have all that submitted to you guys. Next thing is I think we need to establish a ribbon cutting over there. So I think I've talked to the judge's office about trying to set up a date, and we'll get something set up hopefully in the next few weeks for that. Questions?
Do we have a clear timeline on illumination?
Not until, well, no, I mean, because Centerpoint is ultimately the ones that have to be happy with what we do. So we're working, TxDOT has told us what Centerpoint has instructed. We're trying to match what TxDOT is telling us. And then we go back to TxDOT. TxDOT's the hub. They go back to Centerpoint. Centerpoint hopefully likes it this time. Like I said, this is the 3rd time we've had to change it for TxDOT in Centerpoint. And, I certainly would think at this point, we should be done within a week. And then it's just a matter of Centerpoint. And anybody that does any work with Centerpoint can attest to, once you get a pole up or whatever else, getting it turned on, sometimes that's difficult.
I can help you if you need.
I understand that.
I mean,
Right.
we have some contacts.
So I think at this point, yes, Judge, I think if we don't hear something positive by next week, first part of next week, then it'd probably be a good time to make a couple phone calls and make that happen.
Yeah, Larry Moore would already have that done, by the way.
He did text me when I asked about him
Except he's pushing center.
You want to come up and introduce yourself, Johan?
Hello, Johan Patterson. I know you all met Paul before, Paul Solaro and Larry Marr. Paul retired, taking
And
over
Larry
for his
retired?
spot. And Larry, no, not till 1409 has the opening and it's
Oh,
done.
okay.
He's gonna stay to finish, but he's only working on 1409.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And he'll be supporting, and I'm here also for any questions you might have, anything we can support you on.
Okay, thank you.
And you were telling me the lighting had to do with 120 voltage versus 277?
That was one of the changes, Corey can confirm, but it was originally 220 and now then they changed it to 120. That change has been done and now it's waiting on CenterPoint to come in and plug in and put the meter if they like it.
Well, actually, I think the meter had to be changed slightly. They wanted it moved over a couple feet, I think. But anyway, I mean, it's pretty small stuff, but anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, and they're not the easiest.
What?
They're not the easiest to work with.
No, and I got like 7 months emails about illumination. It was absolutely 100% ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe you get your flashlights.
Maybe so.
Commissioner, you're not the only one
So.
that's getting those, and I've reached out to Corey. I mean,
Yeah, I've gotten calls on it.
Yeah.
So, yes, and so for the public that's listening, all three of the commissioners on the west side have heard you and have been reaching out to us to pass along their pain. So they're doing their job, I assure you.
Okay, thank you, Johan.
Thanks, Corey. Thank you.
Anything else, Corey?
Yes, sir.
All right, no action on 3.6. Thank you for the update. We'll let y'all know when that ribbon cutting is sent.
It'll be during the day.
that's good, Tommy. I knew I liked the big guy.
Mhm.
One question. Do you have anything for me on this?
It won't take but a minute. Yeah, anything going on consent?
Now I got something for him on the executive session.
Okay, so yeah, hang around, Corey. Let's start with precinct 4. Billy.
Okay, I want to take item number 6, payroll, back into executive session.
Payroll changes. Okay.
And then I want to just mention under the monthly reports, and when we start looking at capital expenditures for last year, some departments left quite a bit of capital money. And, you know, I just think we need to look at that when we budget next year. And are we budgeting too much money? Do they really need what we're giving them, or what's the deal? But there were some of the departments left quite a bit of money in there. I'm not telling them to spend it foolishly, but I just think we need to look at how we budget.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want to say just spend it, but.
Okay.
You're right, and we'll make a note of that.
And item number 16, it says the letter, I think that's on page, I don't know what this is, what page it is. 1916. It was OEM RFQs for sheltering services. And it says the following disaster-related services, but there's no following services unless they're just talking about, I'm not sure what services we're going out for RFPs on.
I think it's just the sheltering, EMS, and medical transport services. Bill?
I think Bill can add something to that. Ryan and Bill.
Yeah, Bill Volo, Emergency Management, and that's correct, Your Honor. That was just something he inadvertently left out of the agenda item.
All right. That's all, Judge. Give me a minute.
We'll come back to you. All right, precinct 3.
5 and 11 is not accurate.
11, approve adding an additional 20,000 to science engineering purchase order to provide testing services for West Side Complex.
Actually, we need to pull that.
Okay.
So it needs to go back and get corrected, so.
All right, let's pull number 11 and 17. We've already voted on. Job descriptions, that's, you want the executive session on that?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, Billy, nothing else.
No, I just, on item number 20, we're still doing vacation carryover.
Oh, yeah, we do need to.
Yeah, I think you two guys were, was it you two guys? Work on it?
I spoke
Or
with
you were?
Chelsea. Chelsea was coming up with a letter to present to the court. I mean, she could elaborate on that today if we need her to.
So.
Did y'all get the email?
Yeah, I got the email and I responded back. So we gotta figure out how to address this. And I really don't want to punish any employees, but this continues on. So, and then we're gonna be having this discussion next court because I got a call this morning about the department head and 2 employees didn't really realize this. So it's the same story pretty much every time. So, and then one of the guys here, road bridge guy, which I mean, he's critical guy. There's not any doubt. But it keeps stacking up. So one of these employees still has almost 3 weeks to be able to use her vacation time. So I'm trying to kind of figure out why she's on the list. So do we pick a date to say, hey, this is it, and give the opportunity for HR to get this information out to everybody? Or I want to be fair about it, but I also want it to come to a screeching halt because it just continues on and on. So.
Well, I like the letter that Chelsea sent out.
I do too.
And I believe that we need to put it on court and.
Well, we already got a policy in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and. well,
I mean, unless it's a true emergency, I mean, we approve them, period, of 40 hours. But they gotta have a grace period too, because we have been doing it and they expect it. So look, here's the drop dead date.
She sends out every 2 weeks to every department head, elected official, what their anniversary dates are on what these employees have left on their pay of vacation. And I believe we need to start holding these department heads a little more accountable to whoever's doing the time sheets within that department. They need to let these employees know, hey, your anniversary date's coming up, you need to take off. You need to do something. So then we need to put a little bit of the pressure on them too.
We do. So, I mean, do we make it to the end of February or, for everybody to
I
get?
think we give them at least 90 days.
Yeah, I'll give them some time.
90 days.
So the end of the first quarter? So.
That's fine. We're gonna need to run that back to court.
No, I don't think we do.
No, we already got it.
Chelsea, here's you put out this letter that you got till the end of March.
End of March.
And we're no longer doing vacation carryovers unless it's an absolute emergency.
Well, you gotta give them time to use their vacation. If there's not one there, you can't do it,
Yeah.
and you gotta give them time to schedule it and get something going. So I think, the end of March is only 60 days out. Personally, I don't think that's enough.
Right.
They've gotta have time to use it up.
End of April,
I
90
feel,
days.
huh?
End of April will be 90 days.
I would say at least 90 days notice, because,
Okay.
you don't want to put the departments in a bind, have everybody just taking off at once. You don't want to do that.
Well, we got elections coming up too, so we need to bear that in mind in case there's someone in Heather's office or whatever that she may need. to
Right.
utilize as well.
So we need to be reasonable about it.
End of April? Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
in that letter that Chelsea sent out, it defined what emergency is. I mean, that the judge.
Yes, it
Pretty much the judge dictating that.
All right, then I'm sure Chelsea's listening. So. She's probably too busy to be listening. All right, what else?
That's it.
2.
1 and 6, yeah, but we got those checked off.
All right, 1.
6. That make any sense?
Mhm.
I won't take that back to you.
Okay, yeah, it's already on.
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Gore.
Have a good judge.
All right, entertain a motion on the consent to approve everything except 5, which is going to executive session, 6, executive session, 11 has been pulled, 17 is already voted on. Approve the rest.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Hammond. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, it's 11:05 a.m. We'll go to executive session under the items mentioned under consent. And also any other personnel issues as stated under executive session, and the sale of purchase of real property, and also discuss consider health services department at this time. It's 11:05 a.m. We'll recess to executive session. All right, we'll come to order after executive session. It's now 1:48 p.m. Do I have a motion on payroll changes?
Changes pertaining to consent item 19.5. I'd like to pull the following, the 2 precinct 1 custodian positions. The position for Vicky Sanchez, and also the position for Clayton King. And approve the rest.
All right, got a motion. Where is that, number 6? Got a motion by Commissioner Hammond, second by Commissioner Combs. Are there any questions or comments? Hear none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Approved job descriptions, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Hammond. You can tell who's hungry. Any questions or comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. No other action out of executive session. And that court is adjourned at 1:49 p.m.
Good afternoon.